So I'm out here on location, and the truly fascinating aspect of being out in the wilderness like this is, especially privately owned lands like I'm in right now, where you have to pay the membership for, it's just there's something completely different about this experience, and in many aspects. Like, I'm literally not that far from civilization, and let me show you something for a minute. Right there, there's a road, okay? And next to all of that is this. And every single person that drives by, every single person that rushes through to their morning commute or whatever else, I mean, they're completely missing out on all of this. And you know, everywhere you look, there's signs of life. Whether it's a little bird like you see over there, or something screaming off in the background as I'm trying to videotape this one. I've been seeing a lot of those duck-looking things all across this region. I just don't know what they're called. I usually see one or two. Notice how peaceful it is. It's just all the world problems go away, and you could just... Nope. How about that? The bird that you see up here is a female anhinga. And off she went again. It's a bird that I've mentioned previously. Sometimes it's called a snake bird. I believe it originally came from Mexico. Don't quote me on that though. It's a water bird, spends a lot of its time underwater. Believe it or not, it swims and catches fish and things, and kind of pokes his head out of the water like a snake, and that's the reason why it is called a snake bird. If you're not used to this sort of stuff, it will scare the crap out of you. I remember when I first moved to Florida, I was like, what in the world is this? Sorcery. But now you're used to them. Most of the time, however, you see them on a bank with the arms stretched out. Okay. Show-offs. There's a local fish having fun. I don't know what they're catching because there's nothing to catch. Like, there's no bugs all around me or anything like that. Well off in the distance, there's a white bird. More than likely, that's an egret. I've shown you some juveniles before. This one is actually kind of big. It's been sitting there for a while. I wonder if it has a nest in there. Usually they nest in the trees, so it would be interesting to see what it's doing over there. well-established wetland system up here on the bank of this lake. Really fascinating. And no, this is not a natural lake. This is what you call a reclaimed area. There you are. And like with other birds in Florida, this one looks really beautiful, but sounds absolutely atrocious. I would very much like to go into those fingers over there, but the problem is with my kayak, since I don't have a reverse gear, I have to risk getting the pedal out and hopefully not lose my camera in process as it falls violently into water. So I'm just gonna let you enjoy it from a distance. It's really interesting. And with respect to alligators, other than that 10-footer that I saw a while back, there's really not that many up here. I'm surprised. I was kind of expecting more. But that being said, with vegetation being this thick, they could be a lane right in the middle of it, right next to me, and I would not be able to see them at all. Oh, speaking of it. Well, hello there, Mr. Alligator. And just like that, 7 or 8 footer just disappears. The thing about them, the alligators, normally what happens is they dive and they just sit there. And unfortunately, when they come up, they really don't watch where they're going. So if you're in vicinity expecting it to come, don't be surprised if it bumps into your kayak. I've had that happen multiple times now. I think it's very easy to kind of underestimate the skimmish nature of the beast. You know, people say that alligators don't attack people. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, I don't know. But I'm not the kind of person that wants to find out. Interesting aspect of birds that I've mentioned previously, they love to congregate. It's just not sooner that you see one, you see a whole bunch more. So once again, this over there is a midnight blue heron, or rather great blue heron, sorry, juvenile great blue heron, that's what I meant to say. Really cool looking bird. And if you noticed, as he was taking off, he didn't have any grays and blues in him. He had orange. And that all tends to go away once they get older. know if they're fighting over the turf or just kind of talking to each other. And here's another aspect of kayaking in a place like that. You get the trees and the lake and the wetlands all in the same go. So there is quite a bit of variety. And that's why you start seeing birds that are not necessarily water birds close to this lake. Ooh! Alright, let's see if the camera picks him up. That's a big boy. Big alligator. I wonder if that's the same 10-footer I saw before. Very inconspicuous if you're not looking for him, and then all of a sudden he turns and you start seeing the back, and the back is like the size of the kayak. Man, look how fast he is swimming. He is like, I am hightailing it out of here. And the interesting thing behind that is, hopefully the camera is picking this up. The interesting thing behind it, this is not the same 10-footer, by the way. This is, I'm guessing, his little cousin. Is just how efficient they are in swimming. It's like he is crossing through the water. He is using his entire body, especially the very strong tail. So much to nobody. Whoop! Oh, there's the big one right there. The baby and the big boy. Now, alligators, technically speaking, could stay down for easily a couple of hours on a single birth. But my guess is for a quick hide and run kind of exercise, they're not taking deep breaths, they're just taking. And the interesting thing is, like, you just can't, like, you have no idea where he is. And he's like right there. Looking in the water, you're not gonna see him. Looking across the water, you're not gonna see him. There's no bubbles, nothing. Nothing at all. Now, this is the middle of a mating season, so I would not be surprised if he is the boss here. And that smaller one was actually not his cousin, but a female. And off they go. As beautiful as this is, this actually makes it so much difficult to spot the creatures to record. And so you could have, you know, if it's a white bird sticking out against the background like that, it's not that big of a deal. But off in the bush, and let's see if you can actually spot him. There's a bird sitting right there. You would never know unless you actually knew what to look for. That is the great blue heron. There he is, with a female anhinga right next to him. So let's see if he decides to show his face a little bit. Well, there he is. Look at that. Beautiful creature. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm guessing this is like a nesting thing. Wow. Look at all the colors on him. Beautiful bird. And that's how he spends most of his time. Just standing there like that. Absolutely motionless for no reason at all. I haven't mentioned this in the previous videos, but all this time I've been dealing with a bit of an embarrassing logistical nightmare. Apparently GoPro mounts are heat sensitive. It is so hot that the mounts for my GoPros are literally falling off. Like the 3M adhesive thing is falling off. And so I've been messing around with the microphone that I have, because I initially attached it with the GoPro mounts, and you know they started peeling off. So over the last few days I retrofitted this to a completely different mechanism, and once again they started peeling off. And then I attached it to a bracket, but the microphone is still held by one of those adhesive things, and that thing is now peeling off. Look at that. Off he goes. If you ever wonder what it's like when a 10-foot alligator decides to poke his nose right next to you, it's quite an experience. Because at first you see, like right now, off in the background, you see the actual head, right? But when he pokes out, for lack of better words, it's a ginormous shovel that comes out of the water. And that thing is so broad. And then what he is doing right now, he's actually posturing. He is, this is not a typical alligator behavior when he's comfortable. When he is showing his back, he's arching, he's showing how big he is. So, look at that. Big boy. You know, I wonder what he is thinking right now. You know, is he thinking whether I'm a threat? Is he curious? Is he eyeballing me so he could eat me? Look at that. You know, the sad state of affairs is that this lake is quite literally filled with all sorts of fish that's jumping around my kayak. So, when not married, mysteriously they're jumping around me. And there he goes. Just like that. The giant beast disappears into the abyss. Such a privilege to witness this. just the raw nature of this experience, it's very humbling. You know, a lot of people that I come across, you know, they tell me, aren't you afraid of alligators? The answer is yes, but I also respect them. And it's something that you have to just experience. It's kind of like when I'm diving, well, when I used to at least, scuba dive with the sharks. You know, everybody wants to swim away from the shark, and I'm swimming right next to it. There's just something, it's not even adrenaline, it's more like a scientific curiosity, I would think.